do work hard to contain and facilitate our waste, but it's got to be said that certain dumps are badly sited. Most of us have probably holidayed here. Set in the heart of the sunny southeast, Tramore is one of the most popular resorts in Ireland. So why was this dump here? Seems to me that the most important thing about a landfill would be, of course, the location. Now, looking around here, this location seems to be completely bizarre. Mike?
Yes. No, here we have one of the nicest beaches in the country, which is reputed to be a terrific tourist resort. And here, right beside it, within 50 metres, is a landfill, an open landfill, which is, by all accounts, uncontrolled.
Yes, because a controlled landfill is actually supposed to be environmentally acceptable.
Yes, a controlled landfill is where the leachate and the waste is contained and collected and can be monitored. Not where, like here, where the waste can be taken out on the tide and brought back in on the beach.
The back strand covers some 7 miles or more, and there's evidence of the pollution stretching throughout of that.
Dudley, what does the algae prove here, all around here?
Where there used to be golden sands, you've now got green algae growing over it, which is a sure sign of pollution caused by the dump. And also in the same area, you've got an open area which is blown by the winds directly off the Atlantic Sea. The council has made some attempt to try and prevent that by erecting a fence around it. But in the high winds, of course, it just blows over the top.
So it actually defeats the whole purpose. I mean, the waste isn't contained in the dump.
Besides the fence, they're covering the daily waste with the topsoil. But it's this in itself is a very good attempt. It's covering the surface problem. But as the general public probably don't know, underneath is a far more serious problem.
So it's like working on out of sight, out of mind?
Yes, like an ostrich burying his head, really.
So can you think of an alternative? I mean, at the end of the day, people of County Waterford have got to dump their waste.
Yeah, the alternative is a controlled landfill. And a modern controlled landfill is where a heavy-duty plastic liner is used, where the landfill is controlled, the leachate is contained, and also the solid waste, and can be monitored to detect leaks or everything like this. A very safe system.
So Dudley, would you hope that the situation will improve? I mean, will something happen?
I should certainly hope so. We're going to do our very best to ensure that an alternative site or recycling processes are set in motion to try and overcome this problem and prevent the devastation that's occurring in this beautiful tourist area.
Jill, what's it like to live around here?
It would normally be beautiful. It really would be lovely. But may I suggest that you take a look at that. Now, how could you call that lovely?
Says it all, really, Jill.
Doesn't it? It's an absolute disgrace. You know, if everyone thought about what they were throwing out and what they were doing, I mean, the youngsters, for example, in a lot of cases know more about environment than the adults do in their own home. It's just an absolute disgrace, and it's, you know, breaking our hearts for the people living in Tramore.
So what can people do to prevent this type of litter?
Well, if they really were very much inclined, I mean, they could save the plastics. I mean, there are people, or there's going to be people that will be doing a load of recycling. And I mean, that is a good way of getting rid of nearly every single bit of this rubbish, both the bottles, the actual plastic containers, the polythene bags, the plastic urns that are there, the whole lot. It could all be got rid of basically and nicely instead of leaving it like this. I mean, the youngsters could come down here and have a lovely time. But how can you bring children down to a place like this at the moment?
Dudley, you live here,
That's right. About 1.5 miles from the dump as the crow flies. And over the last few weeks, Edward and myself have been collecting a whole load of medical supplies, which we found down the back strand around.
And that's 1.5 miles away now from the dump.
Yes, and further afield as well. I'll just put this.
Put on your glove.
I will, of course.
What have you got in there?
Well, there's needles. This sort of
Like a syringe
needle,
type,
syringe, some kind of syringe, yeah. Other types.
And you found them?
Yep, just down the back here, just down the back of where I live. All the little bottles.
Antibiotics.
Antibiotics,
as well, medicines,
yeah, appears to be an antibiotic. These are obviously require needles to be pushed into them to get the material out of them. There could be pills in these. Who knows what kind they are.
Tramore Action Group organised a meeting at a local hotel. This was an opportunity for them to show their well-produced video to residents, county councillors, politicians, and to discuss the plight of the dump. The hall was thronged, showing the depth and local interest in Tramore's waste problems.
The river will actually have nowhere to flow once it flows out of town.
Sitting at the top table were Dudley Snidel, Andrew Cox, Jill McElroy and Karen Dubsky.
And as I said, contingency plans must be put into operation. Location was a problem.
Contributions from the floor were many and lively.
In Tramore, where do you want to have it? And the county manager in particular endeavoured to shift the problem back to us and asked us to make a submission of suitable sites for a dump in the Tramore area that people wouldn't mind. The second problem, he said, was the cost of relocating to a different site. And as Noel said, there are no grants available for this. So we got a lot of obstacles, and we got another piece of information that hasn't been made known here tonight, and that is that the annual cost of running the dump here in Tramore is £60,000.
The main solution is an alternative location. 2 locations have been tried in my time on the council, but dumping is not allowed to continue there due to local pressure and is returned. There's an open invitation to anybody to identify an alternative. In the absence of an alternative, that site must be upgraded because a site has to be provided. We cannot just have no dump. We must have a dump. In the absence of an alternative, we better upgrade that one.
I accept that you know the dump, that you need a dump or whatever, but can you, let's see, any solution yourself? I mean, why do you have to go to the people to look for a solution?
The county council staff have been looking around. They've investigated a number of sites. It has proved to be nigh impossible to find a suitable, acceptable alternative.
The answer is good, larger landfill sites, possibly even in some areas between counties, so that you manage your waste in a more coherent manner in regions, not in each locality. The more small dumps you have, the more problems you have. And have them inland with good lining and good control.
Funding is probably the key to a lot of this. Certainly looking for an alternative site is a good idea, but funding will have to come from the Department of the Environment, from perhaps EC funding. And there is money around, there's no doubt about that. It's just got to be channeled in the right direction. Also, I think on the individual level, we all have to keep the pressure on the local authorities and also perhaps reduce the amount of waste that goes into the landfill and dump sites in the first place.
If we think twice of what we put in our dumps, we'd be at less risk of spoiling the natural beauty of our country. Maybe we should think first of what we throw out of our own kitchens.
A lot of the waste that we throw out is organic waste from the kitchen. Now, you could put it into a compost heap, but if space is limited, you could use one of these. This is a green cone, and you can put any of the organic waste from your kitchen